Hello and welcome back to the channel. I am Will. You are currently watching What Will Builds, and today we are going to be building probably one of the most highly anticipated Gundam kits of 2021. It is personally one of my most anticipated kits probably ever, and today we are finally going to be digging into the 1/144th real grade high new Gundam. Let's get into it. Now this kit I have been extremely excited for. I am a huge fan of the High News design. I loved building the real grade new Gundam. It is definitely one of the best real grade kits, if not one of the best Gundam kits out there, especially for its size. And so everyone, ever since they dropped the new Gundam, has been waiting in anticipation for this high new Gundam. Everything that they've advertised about it, from the articulation that it's supposed to have, with it being such a big kit, comparatively of course, all of the different color separation, the entire shield is supposed to be color separated. That never happens. So this entire kit is going to be amazing. I'm going to take you guys along the entire ride. I'm going to be building this my real grade style. I'm going to be using nothing but what comes in the box, aside from, of course, my Gundam markers. To panel line the whole thing, I'm going to be applying all of the sticker decals per the back of the manual, and this thing is going to be beautiful. So, without further ado, let's get into the 1/144th scale, real grade, high new Gundam. Okay guys, so I have completely finished this build. I have put on all of the decals. I have set the whole thing up. Haven't needed to do any real adjustments on anything, though I will note before I get into this, the only issue I had with this kit was kind of on the thrusters. These little ball joints here are prone to loosening up, so especially under the weight of the thrusters. So this one especially can be kind of wiggly, so that can be an issue for posing. I'm not gonna personally try and fix it or anything. I'm worried about glue and sticking and all that kind of stuff, but if you do have a loose one, that would be the only issue I have found on the kit so far, as far as loose joints or anything. But without further ado, this is the real grade 1/44th scale high new Gundam, easily the best real grade kit, period, if not one of the greatest Gundam kits of all time. This thing is insane. Now, I have actually already built, before, a little while ago, I built the master grade Verka High New Gundam, and that kit was definitely one of my favorites. I hopefully will be doing a custom paint job on that one in the near future. I will definitely show that one to you guys when and if I do. But this kit just takes it and blows it out of the water. First of all, the color scheme looks insanely good. I was just doing some organization in my room and playing around with my new Gundam, and this with the silver and the gold and the blue and the white looks so much better than the color scheme on the new Gundam. It's unbelievable, honestly. The weapons are pretty cool too. Nothing too crazy, but the way they did them was awesome. So of course we've got, this is pretty much the same Hyper Bazooka as the new Gundam. So nothing too different here. You got the silver plastic up on here, which honestly looks great. From a distance, you can't really see any swirl marks. No major issues with those. They turned out great. You really can't see any nub marks, just like I thought at the beginning of building this thing. It was incredible. Then you've got one of the statement pieces, which is the shield. This thing is, as I thought, individually color separated on every single part. So this is a different piece, this is a 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 piece. And that just blew me away. Like, Bandai, please don't skimp on other kits that you can do this with, because this was awesome, and especially since it's not always necessary. Same thing on the fin funnels. These are pretty much the exact same fin funnels as the new Gundam, except for, of course, the top part. But these interior parts are literally from the same runner, and that is the only runner that it shares with the new Gundam, are the runner that has this middle piece here, this piece, and that's it, as well as the B runner for the, of course, the, well, no, even that I believe is different from the new Gundam, because it has these little tabs inside. And this piece here, those are the only left behind pieces. On the new Gundam, these are a little bit taller, I believe, so these ones are just shorter so that it fits more cleanly when you fold it to put it inside of the backpack on here. So, but no, the fin funnels are amazing. The color separation is insane. These are one part, this is one part, this is one part, and this is one part, so they all stack on top of each other to create the effect, and it just looks insane. Like, thank you, Bandai. This is one of the reasons this is easily the best real grade and one of the best kits of all time. So first, I guess I'll go over a little bit on the backpack. You have the articulation on this thing is insane. Honestly, I'm not going to get too much into it, but I'll show you some of the gimmick parts. This extends here, this extends here. That kind of lifts up there. No real features, just to like change poses and stuff. These have a fairly full articulation there. They actually rotate a little bit here too. So you can get some really, really cool stuff out of these as far as flight modes and everything. Way more than you can get with the new Gundam. Or the Master Grade High New Gundam. And then these simply fold up like this and fit inside of these right here. It only fits one way. There are little grooves on there, so you can't really fit it in there without modification, which I honestly wouldn't recommend. These might be perfect squares, but I don't really think or see a reason for testing these. So no, those all deploy.
The gimmicks on this thing are insane. You've got this little gimmick here where when you move this one up, it moves there. You can move the middle ones up here. You can move the bottom one here, so you can flare all of the fin funnels out like wings on the Gundam itself. It's phenomenal. The backpack alone blew me away. Of course, the fin funnel is nothing new. It's the same mechanism as the new Gundam. Nothing too crazy on the weapons. The Hyper Bazooka extends like that. The regular gun, sorry, I forgot the name on this one, doesn't really do much, but look cool. I like the little cartridge on the top. Shield just attaches on one point. To note, you can switch the arms. They are identical as far as their hardware. So you can literally just pop this one off, put it on this side if you want to change the side of the shield, because there's only one port on it for the shield, and it is right here. So it plugs in right here, and you can kind of get some ball joint articulation out of it. I kind of wish the shield mechanism was a little more advanced. Maybe one that clips on like down here on this part of the arm. That way you can switch which arm it goes on. But overall, I pretty much just leave it on this arm because I don't really pose my Gundam too much aside from what I pose for the videos. So getting into the actual kit, of course we have the two beam sabers. These ones go inside of the backpack. It's just this mechanism is kind of more difficult to work with than on the master grade. You've got these little ones, and it kind of accordions out. You kind of have to jiggle it a little bit, so be careful with this one. Just jiggle it out a little bit. Because it's so difficult to get these out, I left the beam sabers out of the backpack once I started posing. But once you get it out, again, this one's kind of another weak point of the kit in more ways than one. But it fully kind of extends out like that, and you can put the beam saber on this little peg right here and then fold it back in. So there is full functionality there. You can do a little bit of posing, like reaching behind them to get the beam saber out, and that is on both sides. So these two are effectively identical. But no, that is it for the backpack, and now into the masterpiece that is the Hi Nu Gundam. So first little gimmick, because I'm pretty much going to be going over gimmicks, since the posability on this thing is phenomenal. Like nothing matches it, especially for its size. This thing should not move as well for such a chunky Gundam. Like up top, not so much, but down in the legs, the stuff they did, they maximized all of the space. So the first thing is going to be on the backside. You have this little flare on the back of the neck, just so that you can actually point the head up a little bit farther, which is something I'm actually really grateful they did, because you kind of have almost a 3 action area, so you can look really, really far up over on this kit. So that's on the head. Of course, he's on double ball joint, so one down at the base, one at the top. So head movement is amazing. You have the extender arms, kind of like you had on the new Gundams. So you can pull the arms out to pull them forward. You can kind of pull the shoulder armor up to almost cross his arms in front of him, which is amazing. Not too much as far as the chest. You can kind of flip this guy up here. It's kind of hard to do. It's got a bit of a peg on it. But I'll show the waist movement while I'm here. The waist extends that much. And it rotates because it's on a rotating pivot. So you can get some insane ab crunch out of this guy. Posing backwards, of course, this is without the backpack. You'll get less with the backpack. But no, basically the waist is almost the same as the new Gundam. And then you can open that a little bit, and then you can also pull this out to show the open area. No pilot figure on this guy, of course, because we're in 1/44th scale, though it does come with one, I believe. Actually, no, I don't know that this one came with a pilot figure because it would be in the baggie, and I don't have one in the baggie. I think they might have stopped doing the 1/44th scale pilot figures. I had a comment on my RG Wing review asking about that, and that one didn't have one either, so they might be limiting those, which is honestly understandable. Those things were almost impossible to paint and would just get lost and break really easily. So the arms, of course, you have full articulation. You actually have double articulation as far as the pivot. Usually you just get a bicep pivot. This time you actually get one below the elbow. So you can actually change the orientation of the arm. So you can do stuff like this. on the arm, which is insane. And then of course you have a bend forward as well as the bend upward, giving you some pretty wonky articulation there. I know I said I wouldn't be covering articulation, but I guess here we are. Shoulders don't really do too much. They do actually, I forget which part it was. One part I believe extends outward on the shoulder. Yeah, this end part, actually you can pull it out. Oop, not all the way, but you can pull it out for some like opening hatches, gimmicks and stuff like that. You do have the opening hatch on the front here. Kind of pull that down there, flip that up there, and you get the arm beam saber. Fold those back down. In the wrist, even though you only have the gimmick for the extendable machine gun on this arm, they didn't take this bend away on the other side. So you can actually bend the wrist forward on its own pivot as well as the ball joint, traditional ball joint you got there. The waist is nothing too special. You got full rotation there. Arm like I just showed you. Trying to think of any other hatches that I might be missing. You do have these back hatches on the back skirts here. I can get that open. There we go. So those do open. There's no real jets or anything there, but that's another feature. Pretty much throughout the entire figure, you have these like metal inner frame parts that look really, really cool. For the back skirt too, something that you can do is, I believe you do it with, that folds down. So that opens up here, you pull that down, and it pulls the waist forward. This is not the same as the legs pulling down and moving forward like we get on most kits these days, where you can pull the legs down into another joint to give it a better kick forward. That one opens by pulling down this crotch piece right here, and then you can pull the legs down just like that, so that you can see better in there. Oops, pulled off the V-fin. Careful with the V-fin, of course. It is a 1/144th scale V-fin. There we go. So seeing better in there, you get the waist pull down, which is separate from the leg pull down, and then that pulls down, and if you pull the bottom skirt down enough and pull that up as far as it'll go, you can actually pull the front skirts all the way to the side. This is something that you actually saw similar on the Master Grade Strike Freedom Gundam. Had a similar gimmick where you could pull the back skirt to the front and then change the weapon configuration a little bit. But yeah, and then that gives you a full, oh wait, readjust. Sorry, I'm not more professional in all these videos, guys, but I am still starting out. You can kick all the way up to the front, which is absurd on a Gundam this huge. Like, he can actually stand on that leg if you balanced him correctly. And that goes for both legs. This happens on both sides. So you can actually pull off some pretty insane poses with this. With the skirts off to the side like that, fully kicked forward. You could show him doing yoga if you wanted to, pretty much, because this kit has just so many little hidden things like that. So that's pretty much it for the skirt. We'll fold that back down there. So that's the lever for that one. And then down here, if you open it up, that's actually a small peg insert for either, for the rifle. This one actually plugs into the back of the backpack down here. This folds out right here, and then this little thing goes here on this little clip here for the bazooka. So you can attach that like that. It actually does help to support the Gundam if you want it to, because this thing is back heavy. So even though you can support it without an action base, it helps to either use the thrusters or the bazooka to kind of lean him against, so that way he doesn't fall backwards as soon as you try and stand him up. As far as the legs go, there are multiple ones. Let's see if I can find them all. Of course, you have I guess I should have done the bend forward here. You get a full backward knee bend on this guy as well. So it all extends and opens up like that. You have some piston movement. You can see all of the metallic colors, the gold and the silver, which look amazing. Some of the stickers even bring it out. You get these little metallic ones right there. The foot joint is insane. You've got like a pull out, and then you've got the basic like foot movement there. It's on a bit of a double pivot joint, and then you can pull it all the way forward like that. So that foot is practically parallel to his shin, and then you get the toe bend. That is insane for a kit this big. So you can fold that guy back up. On the back side, there is, I believe it opens here. It's kind of, some of these are kind of difficult, so you got to be a little gentle with them, but that pulls out, and then that bends backwards, and then this will actually open up here, I believe. Yes, so that you can see the thruster a little bit better. And then of course this pulls up back here, so you can open up the back here. These side ones open up to actually give you a little bit more articulation on the ankle. Nothing to write home about, but it's kind of cool that they made room for all of these issues or potential issues. And then I believe it is, oh, here we go. If you pull on this guy right here, this little gray part down here, I believe it pulls out, yes, it pulls the bottom white part out, and you can see the peg in there, so this kind of gets a little bit of rotation. Not really the most useful one, but it's there anyway, and that is on the inside and the outside, or sorry, the inside and the outside of both legs. And that pretty much, at least as far as I can see, should do it for the gimmicks on this kit, as well as the articulation. You guys are going to see in these poses that I'm going to do on these pictures, but this kit is just insane as far as posability. I don't think that Bandai has done anything that really comes close, at least in this scale, in this quality. Like, this thing is just incredible. I was blown away while building it. I was blown away while making the video for you guys. This thing is just absurd. But if you have to build any Gundam kit in your lifetime, I would definitely say this is the one. I have not had as much fun building a kit. This kind of takes me back. My first Gundam kit was the real grade Poseability, and it takes me back with that completely. Like, that kit just captivated me. I was awestruck by the amount of gimmicks they put into the whole thing. This kit is amazing. I would recommend it to anyone. I'm gonna just note the action base holder works amazing. It holds one end into the actual kit and one end into the backpack. So it gives you great hold, and it hangs down below the rifle or the bazooka, so you can easily fit an action base through there and get whatever you want out of it. But without further ado, I think that'll wrap this one up. Please like and subscribe, guys, if you can. I'm still growing on this channel, and I'm going to be honest with you, my content's going to be a little bit delayed. I'm about to go through some pretty big changes, but I will post when I can. And thank you guys for sticking around with me. And until next time, this is what we'll build, and keep on building.